So let's talk about backing up your WordPress site. Backups are very important, especially this day and age. There are so many viruses out there, servers are getting hacked, stuff happens, and you best be prepared. So I like to be prepared for things. I'm sure you do too. So let's talk about backing up your content in WordPress. Now, there are a few built-in ways to do this within WordPress, but they're pretty lacking, and they don't supply you with really the true result you're looking for. WordPress natively calls it the export tool, and because, well, really truly that's what it is. It will give you, though, a general backup of your content. It will not, however, back up your images. You can find that tool under Tools, Export. So if we go there, it gives me an option. I can export all of my content or select content. So if I just wanted to export my posts, I could select posts, and it gives me a lot of options about which posts I'm exporting. The main reason, this is used to move content from one blog to another blog. So in that case, you may want to be very specific about what posts you're moving. Now, at the risk of complicating this more, there is a difference between the WordPress.org, the self-hosted installation of WordPress, and the WordPress.com version. Let's look at the WordPress.com version for a second. Now, they give you a guided transfer option. The whole idea is if you wanted to transfer your site to a self-hosted WordPress.org site, they will essentially do it for you. In this case, we're just talking about doing a backup. So you can do the export yourself, do that for free. So over here we would do export, we can start the export, and then that brings us to this page. So going forward, the same principles apply. I'll go back to the standard WordPress installation I have on my server. And so here we can select posts, pages. Let's go with all content, and then we would download the export file. That gives us this quick little XML file, and it has all of the text content of all of our posts and all of our pages, all of our special post types, everything that is there, that is text content. It does not contain any images, does not contain settings for your blog. None of that is there. This does in a pinch. If you have mostly text content on your blog, it's a good option for a backup, I believe. But it really isn't the best. Now, unfortunately, when you go over to the WordPress.com, if that's what you have, there is no backup option. Now, mind you, you're on the WordPress.com server. They have their own redundancy. It's cloud-based hosting. You really shouldn't have to worry about your content there. It's really more of the WordPress.org, the self-installed, hosted. Maybe you're on GoDaddy, wherever you are. That's when you really need to worry more about backing up your content. However, you still could back up your text content, and it's a very helpful tool if you ever did want to move your content over to another blog. This isn't really a backup tool. It serves in a pinch, and if you have a limited amount of time and you just need to get in there and get a backup, maybe things are kind of screwy, nothing's working quite right, this is a good place to start without having to install any plugins. I prefer, however, to use a plugin. So let's go to Plugins, and we'll add a new plugin. Search for Simple Backup. And here it is, it's the first one, Simple Backup. This plugin is by My Website Advisor. I've used this a few times. I find it's kept up to date reasonably well, currently speaking. And it's simple. It really is pretty simple. So let's install it, and I'll show you how to use it. So the plugin is installed. Now I'm going to activate it. And you can see here in your plugins page, Simple Backup is right there. You can also find it in the menu on the left under Settings. So let's go into the Simple Backup settings. This is where we'll need to make a few changes. So here we have some basic settings for the plugin. File backup, that's going to give us the ability to capture all of our images. So let's enable that. The backup format .zip, that's the most familiar. I believe the default is tar. Let's put it onto zip just because it's really easy for you to access on your computer. Database backup, yes, that'll give us our text content. So the first one gives us images along with everything else. Database backup gives us the database content, which is all of the text, all your posts and pages. Database format, you can leave that as SQL. FTP storage, I'm leaving that disabled for now. If you want to dive into that farther, that's up to you. That allows you to have all of your backups saved to a separate server. And with simple backup, you can schedule your backups. So it might be an idea in the future to schedule backups and have them automatically backed up to a separate server. HT access security. This is extremely important. I can't stress this enough. Please enable this feature. If you don't have this turned on, people can access your backups, and it's a really bad security vulnerability, especially if you have some older backups with maybe an older version of a plugin that hasn't been updated. So we'll save those changes, and then there's the backup manager. I have a few other backups I've done in here. So let's do a backup. Go to create the WordPress backup button. Create WordPress backup. It's done the database backup really quickly. You can see it here. That was very fast. And now it's backing up all the content. You can see that here now. And it is backing up everything, the entire WordPress installation, all of my plugins, and it might be more than you need, but better off to have more than you need than not enough. This is the kind of backup, if your server crashed, anything, you could give this to your web guru or whoever you have, and they could get you back up and running on another server within minutes, really, depending, of course, on what else they have on their schedule. Now, this is happening in the background, so you can refresh this page, and it's not going to interrupt anything. You can see here, actually, it's done the backup of the entire website already. If you have a larger website, it'll take more time. So you can download these backups. So we'll download that one, and I'll download the database, and you can see when you go into this backup, it has everything. It's copied the entire server for your domain. So you can see here, I have to drill down just like I would through FTP if this was my server, and in here you see all your content. Now once you get into HTTP docs, your content, your images are in WP content uploads, and here they all are. So that's a good quick way to get a backup. There are other ways, but that's probably the fastest thing you could do.